Hi, I'm Tanya Jackson, Vice President of Operations for the Leak Detection and Repair Division at Montrose Environmental. Leak detection and repair, it's not something that I started with. You either love it or you hate it, and I love it. I got involved in it just by happen chance. I really love the aspect of compliance. I'm a very meticulous person, and the detail orientation as well as the team aspect. You're not only helping a client, you're helping yourself, your family, the people that are working there, and the community around you. So it's a very feel-good job. I definitely did not see LDAR as my path. I didn't even see environmental as my path. When I was growing up as a kid, I was bound and determined that I was going to be a doctor, wanted to be a surgeon. I grew up in a very competitive environment. I played a lot of sports and team building. Those set me on a path to do what I thought was going to be helping people through medicine. I went to college. I did all the volunteer work, took all the right classes, and I failed at one of my classes. I could not get through it. It took me 3 times of taking the class to pass it, and when I did, I realized I needed a new path. I had to take one class in environmental science, and I fell in love. I absolutely fell in love. I was really excited about it because just like being in medicine, there's a tangible thing that you can do to help people. Shortly after graduation, I started applying for jobs, any environmental job really, but more looking in the government sector. I really wanted to learn the regulatory environment. That's what I did. It was a really successful position. I learned so much about the permitting process and the requirements that individuals have to maintain as part of their business. In that experience, I really valued the fact that instead of enforcing what people had to comply with, I really wanted to support them on the receiving end and help them comply. I left the position at the AQMD while trying to find a job, and it was just a bad market at the time for finding a job, so it took a lot. And the success came when I looked on the AQMD website and they had a certified permitting professional program. And so I went and I got that license, and I noticed they post that on their webpage of everyone that has that certification. So I sent resumes to every single person on that list. Paul Dumas, the director of Avanti Environmental, called me. It was funny at the time because he'll tell you he wasn't hiring, but he liked my background and thought I could contribute to his clients. When I came to my interview, I prepped, I researched the company, I researched what LDAR was. I still didn't understand it when I went into the interview, to be honest. Because I had less experience with LDAR and more experience with project management, I really had to get involved and get in the field. It was a good validation process because what you want to happen, what's required to happen, and what actually happens may not always be the same thing. So it was a really great auditing perspective to see all those different steps. What did the client want? What did the director of operations for Avanti expect? And then what was occurring in the field? And that allowed me to really put together a cohesive solution for projects in the future. I was working with these clients and very specific inventory projects. I started seeing patterns that I could create solutions for other clients, not just these existing ones. Within 2 years, I had grown the LDAR inventory business by $1 million. I wasn't trying to sell, I was just trying to help people ensure they were in compliance. I was in the position for 2 years, got to manage some large projects, and that was great because they were projects that really started from the ground up, and that allowed me to see all aspects of LDAR. Throughout that process, there was definitely some personal failures, but some really amazing successes that I'm very proud of, and it gave me that big picture to see what it is that we can improve and really focus on that in the future. In 2015, Avanti was acquired by Montrose. I was in a senior role as a project manager, and now all of a sudden we were being brought into something completely new. Shortly after, the new CEO of Montrose, Vijay, had a meeting with all of the managers from the newest acquisitions. In that meeting, I raised my hand and I asked him for two very specific things. Within a week after that, he personally called me. He got me the information that I requested. I knew that's where I wanted to be. If our CEO has that level of commitment and he truly cares about what our needs are and our concerns are, I knew this was going to be a successful company. After being with Montrose, I was approached by Josh Lemaire. He asked if I would be interested in joining the sales team. We came to a conclusion that I naturally do sales because I want to help people, but I needed to still have my foot in project management. I was then promoted to the director of client accounts. Right now, I am the co-chair of the Diversity, Fairness, and Inclusion Task Force. It came about because there was a lot going on in the world and across Montrose, and I wanted to, again, make a difference. This year, I became the co-chairman, so I've been involved a lot in the education that's putting out there along with the task force to ensure that we're communicating, it's transparent, and we move Montrose forward. Another group I'm involved with is the WELEAD group. This is a women's mentorship program that recognizes the value in women's leadership and how that can really provide value to the company as well as to the women in Montrose. The number of women in sciences continues to grow. Just 2 years ago, LDAR didn't have any female technicians in the field. And now, just in Montrose, we have 15. WELEAD has announcements that come out and educational information and support mechanisms. I was meeting with mentors, and instead of just taking all that information for myself, I was giving that back to my team. I hold leadership cohorts with all the project managers and managers in the LDAR division, giving back what I'm learning. It only does one person any good if it just sits with me. But if I can share that information through mentor programs and leadership meetings, that's not just impacting me, that's impacting the entire team. Right at that time, Chief had contacted me and asked me if I wanted to join. It was people across the United States that weren't necessarily in the same industry as me, but at that vice president level have similar problems. And then I was contacted by the University of California of Riverside, which was my alma mater, but they didn't know that actually when they contacted me. And they asked me to be on the board for the Women's Leadership Program to oversee the content that was going out. What are people experiencing? What are women leaders experiencing? What do they need to be educated about? And so we get to meet with other women, again, across the industries and talk about the challenges that they face so that they can educate the next generation. Some people see LDAR as just a 9-to-5 job. And if you look at what we've accomplished in 40 years, it's incredible. It's really baffling at how much change we're seeing. And LDAR is such a stepping stone to so much more. It's impacting yourself, your team, your communities, your clients, and it's all helping protect the air we breathe and creating the leaders of tomorrow.